What I have here are two of the probably most requested for us guns to review this year. The all-new Smith Wesson M&P Carry Comp polymer frame, and then the Shadow Systems MR920P. You guys know that we did a full review on the Shadow Systems MR920P, and you know that this is an all-new pistol from Smith Wesson. And today, what we're going to do is do a full comprehensive comparison and head-to-head video versus these two pistols. So MR920P versus the all-new Carry Comp from Smith Wesson. On paper, these two pistols have a lot of things in common. So let's go over the things that they have in common, and then we'll go over some things that make them different, and then we'll also go over a couple of the negatives for each one of these two pistols. We'll shoot them, and we'll give you guys all kinds of information so you can make an educated decision if you're trying to choose which one of these two pistols may be better. The Shadow Systems MR920P uses a Glock 19 length frame, meaning it's a 15 round capacity frame. The M&P is a compact size frame, so it's a 15 round capacity as well. Smith Wesson uses metal magazines, and the Shadow System does ship with PMags. Both these pistols come with 2 magazines. They're both 15 round magazines, and they both sit fairly well inside the pistol. So the Smith Wesson pistol, you'll see that it sits there at the bottom of the grip. I'm able to get a full grip on the pistol, and I have full size large hands on this pistol, so no issues there. And the Shadow Systems is the exact same thing. However, out of the box, Shadow Systems ships it with a magwell. It is a polymer magwell, and there aren't really any aftermarket magwells that seem to fit well or even really work at all on Shadow Systems pistols. So the magwell that comes on it does work really well, and I have found them to be very usable. So it's a good thing it has it, because the Smith Wesson does not come with one out of the gate. However, the frame design on the Performance Center Carry Comp here is common. There's tons of magwells out there on the aftermarket if you want to get it, which we'll get into the price between the two of these here in a second. But both of them being 15 round capacities is a big deal, because both of them makes it concealable. So they're easier to conceal than like a 17 round gun, or even, let's say, some of your larger ones, because a lot of folks are starting to, let's say, go into that larger carry gun size that I'm not personally a fan of. And I think that these two pistols fit a nice middle ground for that. Now, of course, both of these pistols are compensated. So you have a actual port design or comp that's cut into the barrel of the Smith & Wesson pistol. So this has a 4¼ inch barrel, just like the Shadow Systems does. However, this one has it kind of cut into the barrel, and the overall port design and port size, I would say, is, it's really just seems like it's about half the capacity of what you're seeing on the MR920P. I haven't shot the two of these side by side enough to say one shoots better than the other, but what I'll tell you is that if it's anything like how the Terran Tactical or TTI Combat Mechanic was, the smaller port size does translate onto camera to where you end up having a smaller, or let's say less of a significant reduction in recoil. So chances are the MR920P may shoot a little softer and may shoot a little flatter, but it's going to be important to see the two of these, because unlike your SIG pistols, the M&P has a lower bore axis, just like your Glock design pistol. So you're not dealing with that high bore axis like you get from, let's say, a Walther or a SIG. With that being said, though, the frame serrations, or let's say slide serrations here on the M&P Carry Comp are really good. It's almost as if they took excellent cues from the serrations that Shadow Systems does on their pistols. However, they're even better on the all-new Carry Comp. So I slightly give that edge to Smith & Wesson for their slide serrations. Now, they did put excellent night sights on here. In fact, they're night vision, just like what you find on your Shadow Systems pistol. However, with the Defender ST from Vortex, like we have on both of these pistols, you do get a co-witness with it on the Shadow Systems, and you will not get a co-witness using the optic system here on the M&P. So that's a little bit of a downfall. Not real happy about that. However, there are aftermarket sights you can get. It only costs you probably $60 to $70 to change the sights. And with that being said, cost-wise, and these two pistols, because everything comes down to cost. Money isn't, plentiful for some folks. So what I'll say is that the Shadow Systems pistol right now, street price is between $100 to $1,100, and the M&P, when I bought this pistol, because this wasn't given to us, this pistol cost $750. So you're looking at a pistol that, let's say on a low end, is about $250 cheaper than what you get from the Shadow Systems. However, it has nearly all the same features with better slide serrations, You can still replace the sights if you needed to. You could get an aftermarket plate because there are some forums out there that talk about the plate system and the plate's actually breaking on M&P pistols. I haven't experienced that myself, so I'm not going to say that's the case. However, I have read about that. You do get mounting screws with the M&P, and it does fit on here fine. I had no issues mounting that up, no issues on our metal frame one or even on my competitor. Now the Shadow Systems optics mounting system is probably one of the nicest in the game. You're not using any plates or anything like that. It just mounts directly to the slide. They give you very beefy screws just to mount any kind of optic you want on here, and it works really well. This pistol itself, as you see here, this pistol has probably close to 5,000 rounds through it with not one single malfunction out of this pistol whatsoever. So it's been nothing but 100% reliable. The M&P series of pistols in general have a good track record for being very reliable. So I don't think we're gonna have any issues with reliability when it comes to the M&P. Now we did do a full review of the metal frame pistol, no issues with that pistol, and it shot very well. You can also find that video here on our channel. But speaking of that, if you guys are new to the channel, what I want you to do is get down there in the comment section, drop us a comment, like the video, subscribe, and push this video out to others by sharing with other folks, because sometimes our message doesn't get out there, and we want to provide you guys honest gun reviews, which is exactly what we stand for at the Hunt, Fish, Shoot channel. So I've talked about these things quite a bit now. We'll get into the triggers. The triggers on both these pistols are, you know, they're not the best. You know, I'll sit here and tell you Walther triggers, you know, for serious end users are the best you're going to get in a striker fire gun. These aren't there. These are better than Sig 320 triggers, but they're very similar when it comes to pull weight, how they feel, and how they break. So we'll get into that stuff on the range with live fire. We'll test these things. We'll shoot a ton of rounds through them. Most of the stuff we're going to be using today, 115 grain or 147 grain ammo, and we do have some of that Fort Scott munitions that we've been using as well. So let's get over here, let's get to shooting, and we'll get to evaluating these two pistols under live fire. So right now what we have is we have two separate targets set up. I'm going to shoot this left target only with our M&P Carry Comp. I'm going to start out at a close quarters retention distance. I'm going to do the same thing with both pistols. I'm going to run through a few different stages of the Apata pistol course. We'll go through it. I'm going to shoot these two. I don't have a holster for these two right today, which is fine. It's okay. We can shoot them from, you know, whether it be close quarters retention, low ready, high ready, you know, soul carry, whatever it might be. We'll try a few different carry positions to shoot these. It'll be interesting to see how the two of these pistols perform against each other on a cold start here. But first up, we're going to do it here with our Smith & Wesson. Very easy to do a good press check with this pistol because of those slide serrations. They are very nice. They're deep, they are aggressive, and they feel fantastic. Probably some of the best I've seen. You'll notice too, the Carry Comp actually has a Picatinny rail across the bottom versus what the Shadow Systems does, which is just a standard Glock key. So the Picatinny rail is preferred, but let's get into this. So again, from close quarters retention, okay, step back a little bit here. I'm going to shoot from the soul carry position on the buzzer. I'll take another step back here, go to about 12 feet. We're going to shoot this one-handed now. This is 4 rounds right-handed, 4 rounds left-handed. So what I noticed there just now was like on that reload, for whatever reason, that slide stop, slide release lever on the M&P is very nice and it's rather large. However, when I was trying to push that down, you noticed me struggling with that and I just could not push that down. I'm not really sure why it was so tough. So we'll take a few steps back again here. So now I'm just going to do 6 rounds. We're just going to basically do a bill drill on this small reduced 50% target from the soul position. So slow bill drill, one just out. The pistol overall though shoots very, very nice. It's very flat shooting. I don't notice any issues like with this pistol, my grip breaking or anything like that. And I'm finding it's very easy to be accurate. So let's do that again from the low ready. one extra round. Let's try it again. Should have a couple rounds left. All right, so initial thoughts on the M&P Carry Comp. The pistol shoots very well. It's a very flat shooting pistol. I find it very easy to shoot. The trigger on it is really darn good for what it is. Having shot a lot of Shadow Systems pistols, what I'll say, I probably prefer the trigger on this M&P to what I find on the Shadow Systems pistols. And you guys know from watching the channel is that you know we're huge fans of the Shadow Systems pistols. So if you've seen us, you know we shoot a lot of them. And I'll tell you right now, the M&P trigger on here is just a little bit better. As you saw, we just shot the M&P Carry Comp. So now we're gonna get into shooting the MR920P. I'm gonna do the exact same thing, exact same shooting positions to start. We'll get through 30 rounds. Both these pistols were loaded up with 15 rounds in each magazine, so 30 to start. Then I'll give you initial thoughts. But let's get this thing loaded up. Again, close quarters retention here to start. You know, no slouch whatsoever on the slide serrations with the M&P or the MR920P. However, what I'll tell you, the slide serrations on the M&P are actually better than what you find on the Shadow Systems, and these are really good. I've been a huge fan of these. That new M&P slide serrations, probably one of the best ones on the market right now, but let's get into shooting. So again, close quarters retention, 50% Opata target. No difference there in how the comp actually feels under that position. I'm not noticing any extra blast or anything like that from either pistol. They feel identical. So actually shot that a little faster than what I did with the M&P. However, the group, you know, was a little bit tighter in the first two shots, and I've shot the MR920P quite a bit more than that Carry Comp. So let's step back a little bit here again. We're gonna shoot one-handed. This is be right-handed shooting, 4 rounds, and then I'll switch to my left-handed and do that. So switch to left hand. Got 1 round left, so we'll do a reload here. But we're gonna step back now a little bit further. What I noticed immediately, the magwell on this does feel much better. I also noticed that hitting that slide release or slide stop lever on the MR920P was no issue. Position-wise, it feels better. So let's run this thing through a bill drill now. We'll do it from the stool position. So through 1 on there, through 2. Shot it faster though. Let's do it again from the low ready this time. Seven rounds. Overall, I'm able to shoot the pistol a little faster, I've noticed. And in general, you know, group-wise, they're looking pretty similar. I'm not really seeing a big difference. We got 1 round left. Let's run up here and take a look at the target real quick, and we'll compare the two of them. So overall shooting here with the 2 targets, this is all the MR920P. You see I threw that one there that was actually on that bill drill due to poor Red Dot acquisition. So that's my bad there. However, group size all looks pretty good on this one. I can't complain. We'll come over here, we'll actually look at the new Smith Wesson Carry Comp. Group size is pretty similar. In fact, I actually ended up shooting the Carry Comp better than what I shot the MR920P, and I've shot the MR920P way more. Now both of them shoot really flat and they feel really good. Let's get into how that recoil feels. We'll load both these pistols up again, and we'll actually determine which one of these really feels softer or flatter shooting than the other one. Now what we're gonna do is actually shoot the 2 of these pistols. What I'll start with is 3 rounds, go into reload, and then an entire magazine. So it's gonna be 3 rounds and then 15 rounds. I have 2 pelvic girdle shots, so I'll put 3 in the left and then 15 in the right. That's the goal. I'm ultimately gonna just try and do this you know, somewhat as fast as I can, but also in general trying to have some level of accuracy too. We're not very far away. We're going to be at about, let's say 15 feet. We'll start off there. So we'll start off with the M&P. I also want to see if I'm going to notice anything different or hard about that magazine, or let's say that slide release there. So we're just going to start from the high ready here. So again, I'm unable to depress that slide release or slide stop lever on this pistol with a fully loaded magazine. It's 15 rounds. I counted just to make sure I wasn't over or something crazy like that. But I mean, I'm not able to push it like here, and you know, I have relatively good grip strength. And then here, I wasn't able to really get that with that either. So I actually had to come over and rack the slide. I don't reload pistols that way. It's slower, so it's a little bit concerning. I'm not really sure what that's all about. All right, MR920P, we're gonna do the same thing. 3 shots in the left pelvic girdle, and then reload and do all 15 rounds in the right pelvic girdle. All right, pistol's clear. Let's run up here and take a look at both these targets, and we'll actually diagnose them a little bit. I mean, let's take a look, both targets. So 3 shots pelvic girdle, 1 round out, 1 round touching, 1 round touching, 2 rounds touching basically. So overall, good overall group. I did that in, you know, sub 8 seconds. So not terrible with the reload in there, can't complain. With the Smith Wesson now, this is with the Carry Comp. You'll see a little bit tighter group here, and in general, also a tighter group as well shooting the comp. What I noticed though, is that it feels like the comp is driving the pistol down a little bit more on the Shadow Systems. However, I found that for whatever reason, or however I shoot, I found that the actual Carry Comp from Smith & Wesson actually seems like it stays back on target a little easier than what you're getting with the MR920P. What I would suspect that may be is you're getting extra weight up here from that comp, so as it's coming down, you're actually getting a slight bounce, and it's driving that pistol almost to an extent where I'm not able to keep it as flat. So in general, not to overdiagnose it, but I would sit here and tell you right now that the Carry Comp as a whole, it's easier to shoot flatter and also be more accurate, or at least what I'm finding. And again, like I said, I'll repeat it. You guys have seen a lot of videos where we've shot Shadow Systems pistols, especially this MR920P, and I'm shooting the Carry Comp better than when I do the MR920P, and this is one of my most favorite pistols to shoot. So let's do some more recoil, and then we'll talk about those triggers. Something I want to talk about is, like I said, I've had a lot of issues today with the detent, or let's say slide stop, slide release lever here on the M&P. So this magazine here has 15 rounds in it, and it's starting to loosen up a little bit for me now, which is good because I was a little bit concerned. But like, let's say that now this magazine has 14, so 14 rounds, it's even easier. So what I'm seeing is that obviously, you know, you're getting more pressure on that pistol, and that's causing that, but it's also gotten easier as we've shot today, because that first time I went to actually go reload the pistol, I couldn't press it down with both my thumbs there on the side. It was very tough, but as you can see, that's very easy now. So it's getting better. So we'll just shoot it a bunch more today, and we shouldn't have any more issues. What I want to do now is shoot 15 rounds through both these pistols at our target. I'm going to shoot them, you know, relatively slow, so you guys can see that entire recoil cycle, and then we'll go into how the 2 triggers perform. So now we're going to shoot the MR920P for recoil, and we'll see how this one performs versus that, and then I'll give you guys thoughts about how the 2 feel. give you guys some reference, we shot from about 15 yards. So right here we have the Carry Comp from Smith Wesson. Here we have the Shadow Systems MR920P. Both these targets, which you guys have seen today, is that I shoot both of these pistols relatively the same. So for me to sit here and tell you that one shoots so much better than the other one, that would be a complete and total lie. I can't objectively say that. What I can tell you though is that the two pistols, let's say recoil reduction wise, although this has a larger port on the MR920P, the Smith & Wesson performs, in my opinion, just as well as the Shadow Systems MR920P. And I think that's really the question everybody's been asking us in comment sections is, well, how does the MR920P or how does the Carry Comp shoot compared to one another? Which one shoots softer or better? Well, they shoot practically the same. Now, when we did the OA Defense Compact Pro, the MR920P definitely shot softer or flatter than that pistol. But these two pistols, I mean, you're looking at a bore axis for the two of them that is nearly identical. You're looking at a comp size that's a little bit different for the two of them. You know, same overall barrel length. They both have 4 1/4 inch barrels on these things. The grip lengths are the same. You know, where the slide stop and slide release levers are, they're about the same for my thumb pressure and where they have to go. The magazine release feels the same on them. I can't sit here and tell you that's harder on the MR or it's harder on the Smith & Wesson. Both of them, they feel good. And like I said, I wear about large gloves. So for me, large hands, these fit very well. They're very nice carry size pistols to get into that like compact size. They both shoot absolutely fantastic. I can't even sit here and tell you right now that either one of these triggers is even better than the other. What I'll tell you though, is that the Carry Comp is a cheaper pistol by about, let's say MSRP. MSRP on these is about a little over $1,200. MSRP was $759. So you're looking at about a $500 difference, and the MR920P, as much as I like these, I can't tell you is worth $500 more from Smith & Wesson. The Smith & Wesson is a very, very good shooting pistol. It feels great, and for once, Smith & Wesson has made a pistol that doesn't feel like it's lost in the Stone Age. It really feels like their new 2.0 Carry Comp Performance Center is here for the long haul, and it's actually competing with more progressive companies like Shadow Systems, Walther, and SIG, and if anything, doing a little bit better than them. So let's talk about those triggers here real quick. Again, you know, the Shadow Systems trigger on here, you're gonna see, you come back here, and it comes back, and you have a slight, you know, let's say a wall you're getting to. There's a little bit of mush there as you're going across that striker. Plunger, you hit it, and then you're at the back now, and it's gonna break, and it's probably about 4 pounds. So we'll get into now how the M&P feels. It's really not a whole lot different as far as that goes. So you have your safety lever there, your plunger, just like a dongle on a Glock style trigger. You're gonna come back, and it's gritty. It's way grittier. I mean, you don't really notice that when you're shooting, if I'm being honest, but I can definitely tell you right now, I can feel that. You come back, you hit that grit. I mean, it is, I wonder if you can hear that. You can probably hear it, because I know I can hear it. And you come back and you hit it, and you got some, you see that mush that's right there, and that should be at the wall. And a little bit more creep, and then it breaks. Pressure-wise though, they feel about the same. Again, let's go over that M&P trigger. So, see, it's that gritty take up. It's not as smooth as what you get on the Shadow Systems. And then you're gonna hit that, and now I'm at the edge, and it breaks. Pretty crisp and clean there at the end. Once more with the Shadow Systems to show you. So take up, it's much smoother. There isn't grit in there. You're at your striker plunger, slides across it, and I'm at the edge, and it breaks in. So, you know, this trigger has a lot more rounds on it. So I expect it to be smoother, but it's also a lighter breaking trigger that does feel better under dry fire. When I'm shooting these two pistols, I can't tell the difference. But what I can tell you with these two pistols is that if you're in the market for either one of these, they're excellent options. I don't really think you're gonna find a better option for a striker fire pistol with a comp, you know, at sub $1,100 that these two pistols come in at than these two sitting here. If I was to tell you which one of these two, if you had to pick between the two of them, I would tell you to get the Smith & Wesson M&P Carry Comp. I would tell you to get it over the Shadow Systems, no matter how much I like these, because it's a better deal. And at the end of the day, you still could get this pistol, get this Vortex Defender ST on here from somebody like Euro Optic, or check out the links in our description. You can get it from them, still be cheaper than this pistol, buy extra magazines, and still change out the sights, and still be cheaper than the Shadow Systems. So what that's gonna do, it's a good thing for everybody, because when somebody comes out with a pistol that is marketed that well in the price category that the Carry Comp comes in at, it forces other manufacturers to make their pistols a little bit cheaper, because this thing right here rocks. And if you ask me right now, #1 pistol to go out and get a comped polymer frame compact handgun, M&P Carry Comp. So if you guys don't agree with me, or you got other thoughts, or you got a better pistol than what I have right here, let us know in the comment section. But until next time, stay tuned with Hunt, Fish, Shoot.